Alright, so once we have the idea of how to factor and simplify, now we're just going to apply it to larger and larger and larger things. So here we have a trinomial, and also this is going to be hopefully a little bit of a hint, a little bit of paper saver, sort of. A lot of times when we're simplifying these, the easiest thing to do is just to write your factorization kind of right above and right below. So if I were going to factor out this trinomial, it would factor into q times q, and I have to think of two things that multiply together to get negative 18, which means that our signs will be opposite, and they're somehow going to give us a 3, negative 3. So that's going to be minus 6 plus 3. Now that is how that factors. Now I'm going to factor out the denominator also. So when we factor the denominator, it will factor into q and q. And I need to break up the 12 so that I get a negative 8 in the middle. So that looks like that would be minus 6 minus 2. Okay, a lot of times I'll do this just so that I can not have to rewrite the whole entire problem over here. You're still having to do the same amount though, so it's just your choice really. But now I can look here and I can say, well, you know what, we have a common q minus 6 on the top and the bottom, and what we're left with is on top a q plus 3 and on bottom a q minus 2. So this would be the factorization, or I say the factorization, the simplification of this rational expression. All right, let's look at another one. Here we have 4 terms on top. Well, because we have 4 terms, I'm going to come out to the side and do the factoring, just because we're going to have to do a few steps to get it factored. So we're going to have to factor by the grouping method since there are 4 terms. Here in the first 2 terms we have an x squared in common, so that will leave us with x minus 5. Now remember, for the last 2 terms we also want an x minus 5 when we have factored out the GCF. So if I pull out a positive 3 times x would be 3x, and 3 times negative 5 would be negative 15, so that's correct. So it looks like now we have a common x minus 5, and we are left with an x squared and a positive 3. So this factors into x minus 5 times x squared plus 3. Now as far as our denominator here, let's see, this will factor into x and x for x squared, and then factors of 25 that will give us a negative 10. Looks like it would be minus 5 minus 5. Alright, now let's look to see what we have in common on top and bottom. Looks like we have an x minus 5 on top and bottom, and we're left with x squared plus 3 in the numerator and an x minus 5 in the denominator. So our simplification would be this rational expression.